Have you ever wondered what makes bodies tick? Are you creating the sexual reality you desire and require? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? What if your fantasies are not as strange as you thought they were? What if you could learn to be kinder to your body and kinder to others' bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Have you lost your mojo and wondered where to find it? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here is the host of The Pleasure Zone, Body Whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Pleasure Zone. Tonight, I have my friend Katie on, and we are going to be talking about dancing for dollars because this girl's got a shaking, awesome body. Like a couple of months ago, I can't remember when it was, maybe it was last year, there was this picture, Katie, I don't know if you remember when you posted this picture of you were like naked in the woods. Do you remember that photo?
Oh, I do. That was in Colorado, yeah.
That was scrumptious. I was like, oh my God, people should pay to see this. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, my girl dances for dollars. How's it get better than that?
How does it?
She's a sassy body shaking dancer. I like how she described that. And also bars facilitator, a creator of Magnitude, and she loves cats. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you know what I'm saying. So,
and unicorns.
And unicorns. I like that. Cats and unicorns. That's awesome. So tonight I was like, hey, a couple of weeks, actually I contacted Katie like weeks ago, and it kind of came up as fun and light to have her on the show today. And for whatever particular reason, I mean, it was like super hot where we are, so everybody's wanting to get naked. The guy in my backfield who cuts wood is like half naked cutting wood. It's an awesome deal to have that guy around. And
that sounds amazing.
It's delicious. He has phenomenal skin. And I get to look at it, and he pays me to look at his phenomenal body. It's pretty awesome. I have a good deal. So I'm like, it's great, right? So, and people pay you to
come into your house.
Awesome. Come on by. Just a little further from Toronto, girl. And so last year I actually met you in a Toronto class. I might have seen you in other classes, but I actually kind of met you in a Toronto class for Access on the street one morning when I was pissed off. It was great. And you're like, hey, I've got a problem too. I'm like, yay! I want to kill people. So it was
Isn't
funny.
that what always happens when you're about to change so dynamically? You just want to kill everyone. I'm becoming very familiar with that space.
It's good, right? The intensity of choosing more is like, wow, we're going to hurt people. And
I know, I was like, that's the worst PMS ever, and then a week later my life is totally different, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't PMS.
But I'll blame it on the PMS until you have a totally life-changing experience, and then it's awareness. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I like when I met in Toronto, I thought you were really fun and sweet, and the fact that you let me dry hump you in class was great too. That was a bonus because not everybody is like with that, and I was like, hey, cool, she's down with that. I'm gonna just dry hump.
Girl,
away.
That was a bonus for me.
It's a great class.
I'm used to people wanting me to dry hump them. So when someone else comes up and offers to dry hump me, that's such a nice turn of events. It's nice to be on the other side of that experience.
And you didn't have to pay for it, right? It was like free.
I know, and especially when it's a beautiful person. How does it get any better?
Isn't it wonderful? So,
it is.
Katie, tell me, what inspired you to choose choose creating a life where you can actually receive money for the beauty of your body? What one day struck you and went, I got a really sweet body. I'm going to make money with this body.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, poverty.
Awesome.
When I first started dancing, I couldn't even pay my rent, and I was being a waitress, and I had a couple friends who were dancers who invited me to come dance, you know. They were like, "You're hot. You need money? Come to work with me," you know. And I was like, "Oh my God," you know. And I went on Google and I read all these horror stories about dancing and got myself good and terrified. And then and then I went to a club with one of my friends and auditioned, certainly not before getting wasted off tequila. And I got hired on the spot, and the rest is history. And, you know, I see now the beauty of that, and that it was the universe totally nudging me into what was going to create the most expansive and authentic life for me. And at the time, you know, it didn't feel that way. I wasn't feeling necessarily inspired. I was kind of just, you know, broke.
Getting by. Gotta get by.
Yeah.
I'm getting groped, and these dudes are touching me, and they smell like sweat. But and you chose it. Like, the cool thing is you chose it, and then, like, at some point had an awareness that this is actually contributing to your life, and it became fun, right? So it doesn't always start fun.
Definitely. And it's just a perfect job for me, because I've always been a slut, you know.
I love that.
I've always been a very sexual person, and it never clicked to me that I should be a dancer. And I can remember being, like, in grade school and being at, like, you know, the kids' little house parties, like, for after a social or something, and actually giving lap dances to the guys in my class. And
I love that.
One guy totally came in his pants, and I should have known that I was destined for greatness then. But no, it still wasn't until years later that it all came together. You know.
That is so funny. I was literally just talking about that with somebody today. I haven't gone down the road of stripping yet. I just had too many points of view about size or something, but I was talking to one of my clients today we were joking about, like, back in the day, and when I was, like, in grade 7, I was the girl who was like, I'd dance with the guy and I'd check out the package. Like, I was a girl who'd, like, hold your package while dancing with you, because I wanted to know what is good.
What you're working with. I know.
Gotta know, right? I was like that girl.
That.
It's gotta know, right?
Yeah.
So I love it. Like, you were getting guys to come in their pants. It's like, how cool are you that you just created that, like, way early on? You're like, yeah, I'm just having fun, being my sexual self. Guys are exploding left, right, and center. Woohoo! How does it get any better than that? And the playfulness.
Yeah, you can imagine how much the preteens and the teens in my life and my class at the time just loved that and were not threatened by it at all.
Oh my God! Yeah.
You know, I got teased a lot in growing up for being, like, slutty or provocative. I think really just for turning people on by being me. I can see that now, but at the time I was all self-conscious about it, like, you know, because at this time in my life I was even, like, I stayed a virgin for a long time. Because I was.
What is a long time for you, darling? Were you more than 12? No. What is a long time?
So I was like 17, for real.
Okay, I was too. I didn't know that's a long time these days, but it is, right?
It's a long time these days. It is. Yeah, I was raised all save it for Jesus or marriage, whatever comes first, you know.
If you marry Jesus, then it's both.
I know. I imagine Jesus would have a huge cock. I bet he'd be
I think
great
he would.
too.
And I think he'd be really skilled.
You have to. I mean, the Son of God. But I
know. And it probably glows in the dark, too, so you can find it wherever. Really sweet and, like, super chunky. Like, I think it's a really sweet piece of meat. Yeah, Jesus is... Where is this going?
I know. I
love it.
At least be bigger than Buddha's. That's what I would imagine.
I think it is too, because Buddha's probably concentrating on not having those feelings, and Jesus was like, man, I'm going to heal you with my ways, brother. Like, you're not feeling so good? Bend over. I got you. I got your back. Now I got your back. Like, well, I think we might actually get kicked off of Christian radio stations for that one. What if Jesus was a sexual healer? Katie, you're going to come on that episode. I think Jesus was.
We could have an extensive conversation about that. I've read all
Jesus, the
sorts of
sexual
books about,
healer.
of course, Mary Magdalene and Jesus and their like divine relationship or whatever. I was like, I'll have that. Why not?
Yeah, she was smart. Being like the first really highly recognized prostitute of her day. Like, she was like, her marketing has gone on for 2,000 years. Like, she's
I know.
something
Beyonce
awesome.
could take notes.
Exactly. Like, wow, if I left a legacy for 2,000 years for my skills, that'd be awesome. What if I was Mary Magdalene? That's kind of light.
Yeah, right? Sometimes that feels light for me too. What if we all are? What if she's just all up in all us bitches? And who knows?
I love it.
So yeah, so I would get teased for that. Like, I actually always kind of had like a bubble butt, and in grade school I got called Katie Caboose, and I was just mortified by that. I was like, oh my God, I always wanted. This was like in the 90s, mind you, when the flat ass was all the rage, and I was always like,
right.
Why do I have to have my butt stick out, you know? And now I'm rich because of it. But back in the day, I was kind of like, would tone it down for the people. I thought like I was wrong, and I couldn't fathom why everyone was calling me a slut when I never even like had sex, you know, with a guy.
Oh, wow.
And,
those judgments paid off, right? Like, wow, you're chinging
right?
them in now.
Yeah, they did.
That's awesome.
They made me some money. So, like, you know,
you took all of your like wrongnesses of everybody was making you wrong on slut this and oh my gosh and look at your big ass. You took all of them, flipped them around, and went, I'm turning this into money, friends. I love that. Like, even though the first initial like thing was, I got to get my butt out of this poverty, and what can I do? What can I choose to get out of this? Like, just having the awareness that you were willing to literally do whatever it took to provide for you, to give yourself the life that you desire, and you chose it. And so many people will avoid it because they have judgments about it, and you chose it, and just like got rid of your judgments of it as you went through it, instead of going, I can't choose it until I get rid of all my judgments of it. You're like, hey, got my judgments, I'm choosing it anyway, I'm going to do it, and then maybe I'll change my judgments later. Like,
word, yeah.
Choice. That's like where choice creates, right? Like, choice creates, and that is like an amazing statement of choice creates. Like, you don't have to clear your stuff, you can just choose it and then go through it, whatever's required in that moment. It's like, it's amazing, actually. So now you're like, you know, you got.
Thanks for acknowledging
me
for that.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. And so you got your awesome caboose that you have like I saw that picture and I wanted to literally like take it down and make a poster of it. Like, seriously, wow, Katie, like, people will buy posters of that photo of you in the woods and your bum. It's so beautiful. Like, it's like, that is like, it's so freaking art beautiful. Seriously, I would buy a poster of you, and my lover would enjoy it. I would put it in our bedroom and he could enjoy your bum. And like, people would buy it. I know that. So anybody who's listening, if you would like to see this, yeah, if you like to see, I'm creating a special offer right now. Anybody who would like to see the picture of Katie that was on Facebook, send her a Facebook message. So it's the letters KT and then Mick, M-I-C. Friend her, and she will let you see them, but she'll charge you for it. And if you want posters, they're coming in future. Let her know. You didn't even know you were creating posters, and you are now. So,
that's a great idea. I can get crafty with the frameage too. That
you're so good.
As fuck.
I love bedazzling it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You like bedazzle your bum, like bedazzle the tattoos and stuff. Oh, scrumptious. It'd be awesome. Bedazzling your bum. Yeah. Bedazzle your bum live and then take photos of it. That'd be great.
Oh my God. That's awesome. Yeah, that's it. There's an idea. You know.
Bedazzled bum.
And it's like, it's so interesting to be having this conversation with you, you know, when you're someone from, you know, my life with access, and you're talking about, you know, choose it and then clear judgments, and I can't even say that I'm fully done clearing my judgments of myself, you know, as a dancer, or returning them to sender. It's been a whole process, and it's only, I mean, even just now that up until this point, I've kept my life as a dancer and my life within seeking consciousness and I guess what you would call like my spiritual community, very, very, always very separate. I have two different identities, and it's only just recently that I feel the uni kind of tugging at me to unify these and to not keep them separate and speak about them, sort of in unison. And
yeah.
I've been like, no, fuck off, I don't want to.
And there's
really
there's total
uncomfortable. Yeah, it's really
stripping from consciousness. It's beautiful. How many people could actually utilize facilitation with that if through stuff, if they are in any of the scales of the sex trade, whether it's, through I've had prostitutes on my show as well, whether it's through prostitution or dancing or pornography, whatever it is you're choosing in that industry, what if you do choose it and then, you've got all your judgments coming up, but if it's fun for you and you keep choosing it and it's generating for you and it's contributing to the life you're choosing, and then what if then you go, okay, cool, now where's my crap? Let's start clearing this crap, because there's so many times we refuse to create based on that we think we have so many things in our way. And so there was a picture that you'd also put on Facebook, and it's I don't know, you had $1 gazillion sitting in a bucket. And I was like, holy cow, that's awesome, Katie. That was a one night of your body turning people on. If everybody actually chose to receive money for turning people on, like you do, how many people would be super, super rich? And how many people refuse to actually turn people on because they think that it's, not part of their work, or it's crossing barriers or crossing lines? If I run people's bars and they're not turned on, I'm like, whoa, okay, what's going on here? There's something you can add you, and you can add your sexualness to everything. And sometimes it's really overt, choosing to be a dancer is a really overt way of showing your sexualness and utilizing that to your advantage. It's what a gift that you're choosing it, and the people get to enjoy your body, and your body gets to receive money for it. Sweet. That is sweet. Yeah. I love it. I just went on a rant. Yeah. We're going to actually go on break, and then we'll come back after this message.
Okie doke.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour, and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator, to schedule a private session, or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and today my guest is Katie, and she is a superlicious dancer and is willing to contribute her sexualness and her dancing abilities to the world, to watch her, to in turn gift her money for her super awesome skills and her beautiful body. And before we went to break, we were kind of talking about like the willingness to receive all of that. And so was there, when you were doing the poverty thing, Katie, was there like somewhere in your universe you were also shut off like your sexualness, or was that something you were even aware of at the time? Or like looking back, do you notice that?
Definitely. And I feel, I mean, I can't even say now that I've fully opened up to and untwisted and allowed my sexualness to be all that it is in the world. That's something I'm looking at still and currently, and it's been gradual and very ongoing thing to look at, you know, but definitely, yeah, you know, I never even really said this out loud on the radio, but I had experienced some abuse as a child, you know, and I feel that I internalized a lot of that and shut down a lot of my sexualness. And I'm still working on the willingness and the vulnerability to put my barriers down and to be that in the world and be the invitation for it and not feel that I'm at risk or that makes me a target or it's wrong or it's bad, you know.
Yeah.
But I can definitely say the more that I do, the more money that I make. Definitely.
It's
and
funny.
Access has helped me so much in being willing to be that and clearing the issues of abuse and clearing my points of view around money, you know, that I've taken on from my family, because my family certainly does not have money. Access has just been invaluable to me. I can't even recognize who I am anymore from the past even year or two, having discovered these tools, you know. I'm so grateful.
That is so sweet and so like it's so great, because so many people don't get like these tools are actually really simple, like even asking like who does that belong to? Like whose point of view about money am I having, or whose point of view about stripping do I have? Like it's funny, I actually was I danced I didn't get money for it like you do, unfortunately, but I danced from like the time I was 4 till I was about 19. I danced folklore. So I was on stage, right? And I would be in crowds and blah, 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 and costumes and blah, 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 concerts and all that kind of stuff, right? And I had this incredible awareness of like all the judgments coming at me as I would be on stage. But it wasn't until probably the last 6 months that I actually got that people were going, wow, like stuff like, wow, she's really tall, or wow, those are pretty eyes. Like all I could hear was other stuff in my head, like weird judgments, kind of like, oh, that's really awkward, or you're like, oh, look at her, she thinks she's so blah, blah, blah. It's really funny. I could only hear the judgments that were taking me down and contracting my universe. and I couldn't even receive anything that was like a compliment or whatever. So for you, like the first time you were on stage, even like when you were doing your audition, like what did you kind of like perceive? Did you perceive like judgments? Did you go into a lot of judgment of you standing up there going, oh my gosh, like this guy is going, oh, you're not this or you're all this, or like what did you perceive in your universe, and like what do you perceive now, and can you receive more of all of the judgments?
Wow, okay. That's an awesome question. Thanks. I love having, actually, I'm glad that I am being willing to talk about dancing in terms of consciousness, and I'm stepping into this because these are things I might not have pondered on my own. So thank you for that question. This was actually kind of fun to look at. So when I first started dancing, I was very tipsy because I was nervous, quote unquote. Maybe I was excited. But I was tipsy, and I was in my street shoes. I didn't have the proper dancer shoes, and I was always very aware that people were attracted to me and that I turned people on. And so I was confident in that. And I knew that I created my body, and I was very proud of it. I could talk more about that later, but I always used to draw fairies when I was little, like when I was a preteen and going through puberty. I always felt very connected to the nature realms and magical creatures like unicorns and fairies. So I would draw fairies all the time, and I actually ended up having the exact woman's body that I always drew.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so I love my body. I'm always like, this is like just like I drew it. I created that shit real good.
That's awesome.
So I love to be adored and fawned after. Like, I'm so girly in that respect. Like, I love to be flattered and cute. Like, I just love attention. So that's easy for me to receive. And the thing that I actually struggled with was actually having to approach people, or more specifically, approach men once I knew that they were attracted to me, and not to like run away. And I always was like kind of very shy and like very soft spoken. I would have a hard time making myself loud enough to be audible when I talked to people, and dancing definitely taught me to be more outgoing and to have the confidence to approach people and really like use that attraction to my advantage, and to be willing to be the dominant entity and to manipulate people, And
That's
now
awesome.
even that I know access, I'm like, oh my gosh, now that I know that I'm totally psychic and I can read people's minds and they can read mine, and I'm clearly the most conscious, I'm willing to be the most dominant entity in the building. And I know people are going to be judging me anyway, so why wouldn't I just put those thoughts in their head that I want them to think? I'll be talking to someone, and I'll be saying in my head, I love her, she's beautiful, I don't even care how much I spend, I'm going to get a private dance, I could be with her all night, I could go to the ATM. I'm just saying that in my head and like putting it in their head, and sure as shit.
You are
time.
brilliant. I love you.
So that's cool. Yeah. My thing was always just, I never was willing to ask for money, Always, being a woman in the world, you're used to men pursuing you and, wanting to take you out or talk to you or whatever. And in this context, when you're being a dancer, it's very much the reverse. Like, often you have to make the first move, go up to someone, introduce yourself, start a conversation, and be the one asking questions, and ultimately ask that sale and get them to give you what you want. It's very flip-flops, and I was so intimidated by that at first. It took a lot of practice, so many times I would be walking up to someone that I knew, liked me on stage, smiled at me, tipped me, said, why don't you come over, I'll buy you a drink, and I would just be halfway there and just turn around and be like, oh my God, and run away. I was so scared to like go up to someone and have to talk to them, It really pulled me out of my shell a bit to be forced to do that. And now I feel that's like a great contribution to me in my day-to-day life, because I love talking to people. I'm very relaxed in any situation, and I can go up to anyone and ask for information or just introduce myself. I like to make friends, and I'm very social. It just comes much more naturally to me now, and it's actually really fun for me.
What an amazing gift. Like, if you can walk up to somebody naked and ask them for money to just like that is awesome. So how, for other areas of your life, like say with your bars facilitator, so how has that, so I'll get you to answer this when we come back from break, but how has this increased your every other day life, you would say, but like even your bars business? Like, are you more willing to approach people and go, hey, I got this class? Are you like willing to, like, how much more, how do you approach things like different than other people are doing it, just because you have a different, you're choosing something different than, say, the rest of us who are choosing like whatever else, right? Like, my approach with bodies is different than everybody else's. So when I see somebody and I approach their body, I'm kind of like, oh wow, I can see all the places in their universe that I can, like, if I just move their shoulder, like things would change. So, and for you, it's like you walk up to them and it's like, know exactly what the sales pitch is that's going to get them to say yes. So I'm wondering, like, how many other areas of sales you totally rock at because you get, and you've been so vulnerable, like completely physically, emotionally naked in front of people, to be that vulnerable, and that, basically strips them completely naked too, and to be that vulnerable for them too, that you can see everything that they require or desire, and then create like whatever's required. I don't know, it's so cool, but if you could talk about that a bit when we come back from break, that would be great.
I would happily do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour, and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator, to schedule a private session, or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805, or in Toronto, call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and my guest tonight is Katie. And she's, just before break, I was asking her about how the vulnerability of having to go up to men in the strip club and getting them to receive lap dances and basically asking for money, like being the sales pitch, basically. So how that's actually translated to other areas of her life, too, like bars, classes, and other things. The tools of like really choosing to, like what it sounded like to me, Katie, was like being really just choosing it and being present and then going, I'm choosing this because it's going to create more for me, and being aware of that. So if you can speak about how that has like reflected in different areas too, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. So honestly, I've been in Access for 4 years now, and it was really only, girl, this past week that I finally sent in my contract to be a bar facilitator. You know,
yay!
I've really resisted it. Kind of, you know, as I said before, always feeling that, you know, kind of, and who does this belong to? This is what I've been up against. But, you know, having an either or universe, like I cannot possibly work in the sex industry, quote unquote, and also be in the spirituality community or work for consciousness, you know, and people won't take me seriously. And, you know, it's always like when I'm at work, I have my other name, it's Michaela. I'm Michaela, and I don't really talk to people about what I do and in my life and for consciousness, because they're like, oh, that's all earthy, crunchy, granola, woo-woo. And when I'm with my spiritual friends, I don't talk about dancing because, you know, it's just so incongruent. And I realize those are all not my judgments. And what I'm looking at is what it would take to have the audacity to be me, totally slutty and naked for money and working for consciousness.
All at the same time. And it's so...
But it's all it's happening like right now, and it's fucking uncomfortable. So we'll see how it works out.
I love how your awareness, like 5 weeks ago was like, okay, July 20th. I'm like, okay, cool. And then like a week ago, you're like, okay, I'm going for it. First facilitator. It's like, I love it. I love that whatever it was that like initiated that, you're like, I'm going on the radio. I'm coming out of the closet. People are going to know. Right. I love it. I didn't even know. I just figured everybody knows.
Me either. What you do. I mean, you know, I never really, less than with my family, because my mom certainly hates it. She tells me not to tell the family what I do, you know. But I never really lie about my job. You know, people are like, even, you know, Access people ask, like, what do you do? Oh, I dance, you know. I'll say, like, but I don't really talk about it or what it's like or talk about it in terms of consciousness. I always kind of want to, like, brush over that, you know. It's always been, like, a shameful thing, and, you know, and who does that belong to? And it's...
all the distractor implants in there.
Yeah, it's really just different. Not bad, just different. And I'm wondering what contribution I could be, because I wonder if contribution I could be as a dancer to consciousness and like having a business in consciousness, so to speak. Because I know as being a dancer, what being a conscious dancer does for stripping, or for me being a dancer. Yeah. Like, I'm really aware of all the benefits of that, and I'm aware of the gifts that I be for the men and the people, you know, that is beyond what they're used to or what they expect oftentimes, I think, you know, because I think a lot of times guys have the experience in the club of just dealing with, like, a very robotic, not present, possibly and probably on drugs, you know, woman who essentially hates them for existing and just wants to, like, rob them for everything they're worth. you know? And what I find a lot of times, and not to say that there aren't utter creepers in the strip club, because there are, and you have to really have your wits about you and be willing to smack a hoe. But a lot of times, guys kind of like, especially, I hate to say it, the married guys, kind of just want someone to like listen to them, you know, like to be present and to listen to them and not make them wrong and just let them talk. And I find that that's like a real gift. Like when I receive like a man, you know, and even if it's just talking or if I dance for him, like I've put my arm around a guy before and just felt every like muscle in his body release. Like I've had men cry on my shoulder and just like thank me, you know, for giving them the space to be them, and that's a beautiful thing. And, you know, should awaken their sexualness and their arousal, and to not be made wrong for it or be hated for. I don't hate them for desiring me or flowing their sexual energy towards me. Like,
that's beautiful. Like, do you get like it's such an incredible gift. Like, to come into it from a place of consciousness, and then knowing that your touch and that your being and that your energy is contributing to changing their lives. Yes, you are a contribution to the planet, and no, there's no incongruity between your dancing and consciousness. Like, what an amazing gift you are, that you're willing to, and that you're like willing to be that for people, that you're willing to be present with them, that you're willing to even be present with you enough to like acknowledge where your shit still is, right? Where you can go, yeah, I still have shit there. I'm not the walking perfection of consciousness dancer. I'm like, I got some stuff and I'm still doing this, and I'm like seeking for always to have more awareness, right? And all the women that you work with and the men that you work with, like even you being you, like how much is that going to even shift the worlds of the women that are also stripping, that they could look at it and they could either receive it and go, I'd like to have that too. What does Katie know that I don't know that maybe she could facilitate for me? Or even if they hate it and they're like rejecting it, either way, like you're creating something in their universe that's making them question something. And that is such a gift. That's where the you being you is such a gift. Like whether they're jealous of you or whether they admire you, it's like, wow. And then what if they start to actually choose to you do it? Like, why is it that all the men like are melting on you? Like, what is that? And
yeah.
To facilitate that, like, cool. Now you can have bars classes at the strip club. Nobody else has ever done that.
Oh my God. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I need to charge more shit when you put it like that. Yeah, my prices, girl.
I think so, girlfriend. Lap dance is $500 because your world's going to change when I touch you. Just being in my presence. That's awesome.
Word.
And
How's it getting me better?
Yeah, what would be fun? Like, what would be fun to receive, right? Even in your dancing, like, there's probably standards in the industry, like this much for a lap dance, blah, blah, blah. But, like, what if you actually did ask, like, how much it would like to receive for a lap dance, like, way more than you're asking for? And people just
way
went,
more. Yeah,
I love it.
I'm kind of in a space right now with dancing where it's like I do enjoy it. And I do get the contributions that it is for others that I be and that I receive for me, and I'm kind of like bored with it, because it's like, all right, been there, done that. I know that I can make a lot and I know what's possible, and I've been doing it consistently for a while, so now I'm just kind of like restless, and I'm like, what else is possible? What can I add? Even if it's not dancing. And I'm like, yeah, I get that when you get to that antsy energy, everyone says it's time to give yourself a raise. And I'm like, well, the prices are kind of set by the club, and what else is possible?
Yes,
right? I would like to charge more.
Yeah. And what if there's a way? There's always a way. Here, I'll just send that thought to you on how you can pull that off. You'll get it. So I'm going to say it over the airwaves so you don't get fired. But like what?
I doubt anyone that I work with is listening to this.
You never know. I get the randomest interesting, like, emails and stuff from people like in gratitude for some of the shows, and I'm like, you live where? Like, it's really cool. Like, so you never know who will pick up on what episode. Just for you.
Wow.
We'll just leave it out. Yeah, it's cool. So, and what contribution are you to like so many other people in the industry who are listening, right? Who are listening, who are in the industry or considering being in the industry and would go, I'll choose that, but there seems to be so much black gunk and like slime around it that I wouldn't. But if I knew there was a way that I could choose it that would actually be fun and expansive, I'd probably choose it, right? Instead of going, no, and then going to a lot of conclusions about what that industry looks like. So when we come back from break, we'll talk a little bit more about, we have like one more break and then we'll come back and cool.
Cool.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and my guest today is Katie. She dances for dollars because she's awesome at it. We have about 5.5 minutes left, and I just wanted to give Katie some time to say whatever she'd like to say. And before we went to break, I had like a million thoughts, and then we went to break, and then I went tangent in my mind, so I actually forgot what I had asked you. So, do you remember what I asked you, Katie? Because I don't.
You had asked me, I think you were talking about the taboos about being a dancer, and I mean, if I had $1 for every time a guy said to me, like, you're so beautiful, what are you doing here? Like, they think we're all so fucking, everyone has a point of view that you wouldn't do this unless you absolutely have to. And, I mean, I'm sure that is for a lot of people, and that may have been true for me originally, but now I just totally use it to my advantage. You know, it's like, they're always like, why are you here? You're too beautiful. And I'm thinking, like, bitch, what do you think I'm doing here? You think they let ugly bitches work here? Like, you think they let ugly girls work here? Of course I'm beautiful and I'm here. No ugly girls work here? What are you trying to say? You know, like, but you know, everyone thinks it's like so bad, and it's like essentially the way I see it is I get paid to do cardio, play dress up, drink on the job, receive all the flattery I can handle, make my own schedule, travel the world, and get a fuck ton of money. Like, yes, I have it so bad. I'm clearly, like, so hard up. But, I'll play that off with guys. I'll be like, this is the only way I can take care of my classes and stuff. I know I don't want to dance forever, but I just need to get my education, you know, and then they'll give me hundreds of dollars, and I go to access classes.
You're awesome.
You know, if they have that judgment, I just kind of play into it and see how I can use it to my advantage. Like, some people really get off on pathetic, and they will only give money to someone if they feel like it's a worthy cause and they're going to help me. So I will be so pathetic for them. You know?
Darling, you are brilliant. You will one day write a book on this, and it's going to be awesome. I'm already reading it. It's in the future, but I'm reading it. It's great. I love that.
I've been requested, implored a few times by a few people to create a blog. So I am looking into that, and it may be something that is available in the very near future.
That's awesome.
So I can keep you posted about that. And
that would be wonderful.
If you want to peek into my life some more. And for anyone that does listen to this and wants to be my friend, I do love to make new friends. So, you know, you can add me on Facebook if you want. And like was said, it is letter K, letter T, MIC on Facebook. And I will be hosting Dr. Lisa Cooney this October, which is my birthday month, in South Florida for her Radically Alive Beyond Abuse class. It's a 2-day class, and, you know, when I was talking about the journey to kind of, like, get over my abuse and stuff, Lisa's been such a fucking blessing to my life, and I just love her, and I would definitely encourage anyone who wants to clear themselves from abuse and step into the beautiful potency they truly be to come play with us at Lisa's class. In October, it's going to be so fun, and I'll run your bars and motorboat you, and we'll have so much fun. And
she'll grind you for cash too, like a little bit of dry humping for cash.
Yeah, and if you
cool.
Maybe if you want to pay me for a lap dance, that can be arranged. So if you want to look into that, it's drlisacooney.com. So drlisacooney.com, and then. In November, I'm going to be teaching the bars in Hawaii at 5 Days to Change Your Life class. It's
amazing.
It's my first official one that's going to be on the books thus far. I may have one before that, who knows, but right now, that's the first one. And it's going to be, the facilitator for the 5 days is Charlinda Berg, and I'm going to be teaching the bars there in beautiful Paradise. I'm so excited.
How brilliant are you?
I love it so much. I love it so much. And it's going to be on November 11th, which is 11/11, and that's like a lucky number. So how's it getting better? If that's something of interest to you, I can always link people to that event page from Facebook, or you can search, you know, Falling Into You in Hawaii for November of this year.
Beautiful.
And I would love to make new friends.
On Facebook. Thank you for being on my show. I'm so grateful for you. I'm sure I could chat with you
so
way more. And have a great rest of the night.
Thank you, love.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.